Because I've talked about this before, but basically, whenever you say anything about Deadlock's balance, you are guaranteed, and I do mean like 100% guaranteed, to get people who say just buy counter items. It doesn't matter if you're like, I've got like a clip channel that posts the occasional shorts and and they'll talk about anytime there's a clip of me talking about game balance, I'm sure there are comments of, oh yeah, you should just buy counter items. Every time you see like a Reddit post, counter items. I've even seen like some people talk about urn and people like, oh, or the previous urn, especially the melee one, and you get comments of like, oh, well, if you're struggling with this, just buy rebuttal, which is quite literally still just buy counter items. And it does interest me that, like, don't get me wrong, counter items are important, but the fact that like there are people in the community who assume that the game is perfect balanced and everything's good purely because there are items that exist to counter certain things. Kind of fascinating in a way, because it sort of demonstrates like a pretty clear lack of understanding. For example, one of the biggest issues with counter items is quite often if you need to buy an item to counter somebody, that person is ahead of you. What this means is, if you buy that counter item, then that person will be even further ahead of you in terms of like itemization towards their end goal, like all of the items they need to do damage or be useful in the team. And like I don't know. I'm curious if people understand that or not. I'm curious if people understand like, oh yeah, you can buy items to counter this person, but in exchange, you're going to be having less damage or less health or whatever. And you're probably already behind them in terms of souls. So now you're effectively even further behind them in terms of souls. Like, there's some exceptions, right? Like, in laning phase, if you're playing like Warden or whatever, you just buy fucking slowing Hexamina and you kill her. And usually she don't have to, like, that's one of the exceptions to the rule. But in general, like, if you're buying counter items, you are probably behind the enemy. And so this is not going to be a fun experience for you overall.